On a previous video, you mentioned you had to butcher a cow who killed herself in a corral. What happened?
Someone. We must have mentioned that in one of the videos.
Other day, Greg was with 513. Mm-hmm. We were talking like, she's pretty docile. Maybe we just leave her, and then we're like, no, we're not gonna leave her in the corral.
Okay, this is. We'll see if I end up posting this one on the YouTube or not. But it's the. It'll be in the big clip. It's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
It's
part of life.
It's part of life.
We didn't do it.
We didn't intend to do it. Yeah. Basically, the gist of it is, we had a cow that didn't take her calf. We walked her all the way up to the corral, got her in there, put her in the head catch, let the calf nurse one day, let him back out. Same thing that afternoon. Came back the next morning, did the same thing. Then in the evening we came in. The cow has been chill in the head catch every time. Didn't kick, didn't jump, didn't act weird, nothing. Totally calm. Put her in the head catch. Let the calf at her. Calf went straight to the udder. Started nursing, and we left for 40 minutes to go move the sheep.
Was it the sheep or the mob? I think it was the mob.
The mob. We went and moved the mob for 30 or 40 minutes. Came back. And what the cow had done is she had kicked her. If people were familiar with head catches and shoots and stuff, will sort of understand what I'm saying. But she had her head in the head catch, and the head catch is narrower towards the bottom and it's wide at the top, so that her head stays in one spot. Like when you're dealing with them. She kicked her leg up and over the sidewall of the.
There's like a bar that runs horizontally along.
Over that horizontal bar. She kicked her back leg up and over it and got it caught, and then forced her head down into that narrow part of the head catch, and she suffocated in there just because she was like pinned. Her foot was up and her head was down, and she couldn't get her foot back to right herself and lift her head up, and she must have died minutes before we got there. And so we showed up, and the calf was just sitting in the corner, and the mother was laying there, stone dead in the corral. And this was at 7 o'clock at night in the middle of the summer. Mm-hmm. And so Greg takes a look at her and is like, well, we're going back to the house and getting the knives. We gotta salvage this.
We're like, we're gonna be up till
midnight. And so we got her out on the ground and we butchered, as we basically salvaged as much meat off of her shoulder, her neck, her rump, and her loins. We didn't open up her chest cavity or anything like that because it's a huge animal and we don't have anything to hang it with or anything like that. So
we basically got the meat without opening the guts, and then we just flipped
her over and did the same thing to the other side.
Yep.
It was probably like 350 pounds of meat, all said and done.
And then we just cut it up that same night. We cut it up into little chunks, got most of the fat out, not most of it, enough of like the gristle and stuff out of it.
Yep.
And then froze it all that night.
And then
the freezer.
Yeah, and then we came back and ground it up and mixed it with a little bit of pastured pork fat, and it was delicious hamburger. And so that was a lesson for sure of how to skin and butcher a full cow on the ground.
You don't do that very often.
Don't do that very often.
You might not get to.
You might not get to do that one, but it was. I hope we don't. But it was.
I kind of hope we don't too.
But we learned a lesson. Greg's like, I've done that a million times in the 20 years that I've run livestock, and that's never happened. And it's just one of those situations. And we talk to people too, and they're like, yeah, we leave them in the head catch all the time for 30, 40 minutes or whatever, just to go and do something and come back. And it's always fine. And it is always fine until it's not. So we'll never do it again. But that's that story. I know I got comments and people were asking about that too, but
it's like you don't want to talk about it, but it's like
the reason why we don't really like to talk about it is because we know that there's certain people out there online that'll just get all bent out of shape about animal rights stuff and like humane things and whatever. And people who know what we do and know Greg knows that those animals live the best life they possibly can.
So spoiled.
And it's just freak accidents like that sometimes happen, and it's just part of the livestock business. And so, but some people don't necessarily understand that. But I know that 99.9% of people that watch this will understand it. So. Anyway, it was
that's the story.
That's the story.
It's a good story.
It's a good story. It was
a good lesson, I should say.
Yeah, it was a tough situation, but those situations are the times when we learn the most. So you don't like it to happen, but we learned a lot from it. in a lot of different aspects.
Yeah.
You want to just do one or two more and then call it?